this. Therefore, prepare your mind for action. Discipline yourselves. Set all your hope on the grace that Jesus Christ will bring you when he is revealed. Like obedient children, do not be conformed to the desires that you formerly had in ignorance. Instead, he who called you, as he is holy, be holy yourselves in all your conduct. For as written, you shall be holy, for I am holy. Now you may have listened to that. Your mind may have rambled. So let me put it into words that you might understand better. So followers of Jesus, roll up your sleeves. Put your mind in gear. Be totally ready to receive the gift that's coming when Jesus arrives. Don't lazily slip back into those old grooves of evil, doing what you feel like doing. You didn't know any better then, but you do know better now. As obedient children, instead let yourselves be fooled into a way of life being shaped by God, a life that's energetic and blazing with holiness. As God said, I am holy. You be holy. You call out to God for help, and he helps. He's a good father that way. But don't forget, he's also a responsible father. And he won't let you get by with sloppy living. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. At this time, I'm going to ask for our Mumsy youth called Ignite to come forward to bless you with ways in which their lives were transformed by the presence of God this week in Cairo, New York.
We'd like to take the opportunity this morning to thank you all for supporting us and going on this trip, and to tell you a little bit about what we did and what we learned and how we grew, and to encourage some of our youth coming up. I see some of them out there who are going to be youth very soon, who might want to join us in a future trip. So we'd just like to tell you a little bit about what we learned and what we shared this week. So when we go away for this work camp, we start working on Monday, but we leave on Saturday morning. So we start off with some team building and some fun activities so that we can grow with each other. And so then Carney is going to tell us a little bit about that. If we can flip to the next slide there, Eric. There you go.
Well, we left on Friday. Saturday morning. We left on Saturday morning and we drove down, up to Poconos to a place called Skytop Resort, where we then proceeded to go on an amazing zip line course. What was the highest? The longest zip line was about 500 feet long, and I believe the highest up he went was about 30 feet, maybe. That's what she said. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We all got to know each other a lot better. Hannah likes to go upside down on the zip line. And after we did the zip lining, we got back we ate lunch, and we got back in the vans, and we drove up to Hawley United Methodist Church, where we met the pastor there, Pastor Anna Knox, and she and some of the people that she works with, her husband who moved here from South Africa, and the other boat drivers. They drove us out onto Lake Wallenpaupack. It's a very, 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 very big lake. It's a man-made lake. They use a hydroelectric dam to power the town. I'm not sure if they're still powering that, but they took us out on these pontoon boats to an island. It was a small island, it was pretty fun. We went tubing, they pulled us on the lake, really fun, bouncing up and down, up and down. We had a cookout on the island. hamburgers, hot dogs, we had chips. I think we had about 5 plates of potato chips. Let's see. And then when we left, they started taking us the opposite direction of where the pier was. I'm thinking, what are we doing? And we pulled up to this house, and lo and behold, this couple comes out and they have a plate of ice cream. And I'm thinking, yeah, ice cream. So we get ice cream, we thank them. We had to wait there because we were using their tray and their condiments. So we gave it back and we headed back to the store. Then we spent the night there. Woke up. We went to their service, which was really, really, really good. Their pastor is. They have a version of Pastor Jan there, it seems. It was really fun. We got to know each other. We just had a really great time.
So we enjoyed that team building time together and spent the night at the church, and then we headed to the Reach Work Camp in Cairo, New York. When we got there, we put ourselves into classrooms where we got to sleep on the floor. So we set ourselves up in the classrooms, and then we went to our first program. And each day at Reach, we start off the day with worship, and we would end the day with worship. So we would start off with devotionals and worship in a large gym with a screen and some music and devotional time. And each day had a theme. The theme for the whole week was called Street Level. We got these little devotional books that we worked on each day. So Tanner's going to introduce the theme of the week, which is Street Level. So this is Tanner Order to tell you a little bit about that.
Street level is basically the idea that to really serve Christ the best way that you can, you have to get down to like where you can really, which is street level, which is just where you have to roll up your sleeves and get there and just really serve Christ the best way you can. And it was just a lot of fun because like you get out of your comfort zone, going down and just really helping out and really help trying to spread the light of Christ.
Thank you, Tanner. So that was our first day, and then when we wake up on, they divided us into teams, and there's about 420 youth at this camp. And what they do with our youth group is they split us up. So we actually didn't work. Some of us worked together because we were on some double crews. So there are a couple people that did work together. But for the most part, all day on the work sites and during the devotionals and the program, they were with other youth. So they were encouraged and kind of forced into interacting with each other and getting to know other kids. And then at the end of the night, after the last program, we would get together and do a devotional and with each other. So that was kind of our one time to be together. So on Monday, our first day, if you want to flip to that next slide for me, Eric, Hannah is going to tell us about our theme for the day on the first day, which was Monday, which was qualified.
So the main quote they would repeat over and over throughout the camp, not even just Monday, was God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called, which really applies to Reach because when you start Reach, you can be, I think, about 12, and you're not even a board certificate. So there's very few kids who say they're in the carpentry profession or any of that. They have very little experience, and you learn how to build porches, roofs, tile, drywall, plumbing, electrical, paint, everything. And it's my 5th year doing this, so I felt qualified to work, but not necessarily build a porch in a septic tank where you couldn't build post holes. And some other people probably didn't know how to roof or how to drywall when they came, and so we became qualified for it.
Thank you, Hannah. All right, so the next day the theme was Scarred, and Ryan Carney couldn't be here with us this morning because he had something very important to do. But he shared with me yesterday a little bit about, he wanted to share with you a little bit about the theme Scarred. So Eric, if you could roll that video.
Actually, because that day at the work site, our crew had an hour and a half of preaching. Everybody was going around in a circle, just talking about things that have happened in their lives that have scarred them and things. And at first, we mostly just talked about like physical scars that we've gotten from riding, falling off of our bikes and things like that. But after our crew got kind of more like comfortable talking around each other, everybody just started talking about like the deep scars they had that were emotional, and I just thought that was really cool that our whole entire crew was like going along with it. And like I said, our devotion ended up being like an hour and a half or so. Anyway, during the program, they were talking about how nobody's scars are more valuable or harder to get through than any other person's, because you can't really measure the scars. You can measure the length of a physical scar, but you can't measure the length of an emotional scar. And I thought that was just really touching to me. So yeah, that was scars.
All right, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the next day, which is Wednesday, which was invested. Lynn's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Alright, so this week I learned that to be invested, we have to follow Jesus, go to church, pray, worship. We did all of these things this week, not last week. And someone told me if you work hard, God will provide.
Thank you, Landon. Another fun thing that happens for us on Wednesday is it's a half day work, which means we get like an hour off. They call it a half day though. And at 1 o'clock we go back to the school and kind of got cleaned up and had the evening without a program, but to just go out and have some fun with each other. And that day, some of us chose to play paintball and some went horseback riding. So I went horseback riding for basically the first time ever, and it was really, really cool. And we enjoyed that time together and going out to a restaurant. Do you want me to use a different one? Or? So we also got to have a little bit of fun together on Wednesday, and a little bit more lighthearted time just to be with each other. All right, so Julia's going to tell us a little bit about Thursday, which was the theme for that day was worthy.
So on Thursday, we talked about sort of two parts of worthiness. And the first part was that God is worthy of our love and praise, which I think we all know that. But the second part was that we're also worthy of God's love. And I think a lot of people forget that, and I think we get caught up in how much we messed up and how broken we are, but we're all loved and beautifully made, and there's nothing that we can change.
Thank you, Julia. All right, and then next, Danny Hoover is going to tell us a little bit about our final day where we talk about being transformed.
Well, on Friday, Transformed is probably the most perfect theme ever, because not only do you get to see all the hard projects that you've been working on all week finally come together, but you get to see the life of your neighbor just transformed, because you're working so hard for them and they just appreciate it so much. You also get to see the lives of people in your crew, or just people in the community's lives transformed, as well as your crew in general. You went from being just a bunch of random strangers to really good friends, and then you have to say goodbye. But at the end of the week, transformed, you see the whole entire camp transformed, the whole entire town transformed. It's something that's really amazing, and in our lives, it's really cool. I don't know.
Thank you, Danny. All right, and Dave, this is the only one of our crew who this is his first time at Breach. And Dave was gracious enough to come and be in the boys' dorm, which I heard was really kind of messy. Not going to say how much junk food they ate, moms and dads, sorry. We didn't really monitor the number of Pop-Tarts and Twinkies and Kit Kats and the amount of trash that was spread around the floor. You're going to see a picture of that in a couple minutes. So we went, Dave was going to just kind of wrap up and tell us a little bit about his experience.
First, I want to thank the invite for going with you guys, and appreciate the time we had. And then once we got up there, then we had to break up into crews, and then during the cruise, we had them on again, and that was a great experience being there. And if you weren't touched, you weren't there. And people every day that I was with, and they were saying the same thing to me, that we all stayed and kept work. And I think it was Tuesday, I cut my knee. I just had a couple of knee stories, and my head was ragged, got saturated in blood. I always have to have a boot sometime. And had two, forget their names, Casey and Mercedes. They came over and helped me with my cut, and they kept asking for the rest of the week how's it going. They wanted to see the cut I had, and then I just thought that was neat that they were tending to a person they didn't even know, and he wanted to help out. The other neat one was there was some construction that you'll see. There were some boards that were very rotted, and the boards were 7 inches in height, but they sent us 10 foot, and they were only 10 inches high, so we had to cut 3 inches off. So I'm collecting all this scrap wood, trying to be Mr. Thrifty, and I see the homeowner had a shed door that was not installed, and that 3 inches fit exact width and the thick. Anyhow, the homeowner came over and thanked me because he hasn't had that shed on for 5 years. And I want to thank we wanted to thank the missions team. Missions team and the United Methodist Women's and all the church supporters for this, and I hope you see that all the effort that was into it was well paid off for the week.
Thank you, Dave. As you can see, this was really an amazing and touching week for all of us. We got to grow closer to each other and to help our neighbors, and we look forward to continuing this tradition at MUMC, and I would love for you all to be able to see, not just hear, more about this week. So if you guys would like to sit down so you can watch it, we have a little video review to share with you, a little visual so you can get a better understanding of the experience we had.
As they're sitting down, take a good look at them. They are the future leaders of this church. And I'm going to tell you, they are some of the greatest leaders that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It is your giving and your generosity that allows us to touch lives for Jesus Christ. So we thank you for your gifts as you continue to give, to uphold this ministry, to invest in the qualified lives of these youth and in all that we do to make an impact to our ushers